Hey everybody, it's Justin, and today is a simple video of just me driving through Germany on a typical Sunday. Let's get started. Now, I chose Sunday because it's a quiet day and it's reminiscent of an American pastime, and it is just simple the Sunday drive. In America, people get in their cars with no particular place to go and just start driving. We have songs about going for a Sunday drive, just driving for the heck of it. In Germany, it's kind of against the law. You have to have a goal. You have to have a seal. Today, I do have a goal. I was driving to pick up a bed for a friend to deliver to them, but I used the opportunity to record myself driving and to show everyone what is it like to drive in Germany, especially on a typical Sunday. The streets are very quiet, and you can focus on the German landscape in my area. Most of the paths are guided with trees. You don't always have to drive through a city. It's actually very, very quiet. The streets are fairly wide, but two things you'll probably notice. One, there's no shoulders. And the second thing is that normally there is a bike path so you can drive your cars on. And the second thing is that normally there's a nice bike path everywhere for people to drive. If you notice to my right, there's a bike path right beside me that's separated from the regular road. Now, other things you might notice here is that it is cloudy. And it will stay gray clouds from middle of fall all the way to the beginning of spring. And sometimes that can be very depressing because that's all you see. And I think our body, well, I know our bodies need some vitamin D. I think that's why a lot of people become depressed around this time. And it's the same anywhere in the world where you're no more northern, that you probably need some form of vitamin D. I think that was the first thing I really noticed when I moved to Germany was that my lack of vitamin D, how sad I became until I saw the first rays of sunlight. Now, look at how beautiful the streets are. This reminds me of being back in Arkansas. The trees, the leaves falling down, the color changes. It's a perfect fall day, and it does give me a little bit of feel of what it's like to be in Arkansas. And moments like that are times I really enjoy it. Now, this is my typical stretch when I'm driving home. Once again, it's very, very quiet. There's no shoulders. You drive 70 kilometers through all of these stretches. The part that I was on previously was actually a Schnellstrasse. You can drive as fast as you want. You know it's short. But typically the speed limit is about 70 kilometers per hour. And just drive. Most of the people follow the speed limit, so there's never anyone trying to rush you, even on a regular day. There might be tractors that slow you down. There might be a bus that slows you down, but for the most part, you drive 70 kilometers and you just go. And it's just even though it's a Sunday drive, this is almost how it is to drive on a normal day. Just more cars. No one is rushing you. Everyone follows the rules, and you just drive it. In these moments, I love to listen to um, whatever is playing on the radio. Sometimes I listen to country music because I actually live in the country. Very similar to how it was when I was in America. I didn't live in the city. I lived in the country, and I enjoyed it the most. Living in a small town, living in a small village. I'm a village guy. I am all my life that's the way I lived. And I like to visit cities, but I don't like to live in cities. Of course, the difference in living in Germany is that no matter where you are, even if you're in the country, you're not too far from a city because it's so compact. Whereas in Arkansas, it might take you 2 hours to get to the next big city. But that's okay. Here I am driving through Vidsel, this a small village of about 10,000. I've done a video about it. And look how quiet it is. It's peaceful. It's tranquil. Now, what's also important to note that in Germany on Sunday is they call it Ruhetag. You can't wash cars. You can't cut your grass. So on Sundays they expect it to be quiet. And most people take advantage of that. Most people wake up late. Most people get out their houses and just go for strolls. Just simply just go for a walk. And it's something you gotta get used to. You just see people walk out of their houses. Now, there might not be a such thing as a Sunday drive, but there definitely is such thing as a Sunday stroll. Spaziergang is the correct word in German. And people just like to just walk. Good thing about Germany, there's hiking paths everywhere. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to this channel. I didn't mention, as we're just going around this road, is that, yeah, there's no shoulders, but if you look over here to the side, you'll see that there's a nice bike path and walking pedestrian path. So that means that, I guess the space they could have used to make the roads wider, they wanted to make sure that they had a path for bikes, so bikes don't have to be on the road. These are the tight squeeze I'm talking about. This worked out easily, but still. So you have a nice bike path, and this path I've ridden on multiple times. I enjoy it. They do a really good job of making sure that it's maintained. It's not too broken. They'll repair it as soon as there's problems. So it's very, very nice. So there's a lot of traffic that comes through here on a normal day. Sometimes it's held up by tractors. But on a day like today, on a Sunday, it's just a nice drive, nice peaceful drive. People are very respectful. People are courteous. Just a Sunday evening drive right now, Sunday afternoon, fall. I like that there's a gap between the road for cars and for bikes and pedestrians. So that means you make a mistake, you can correct yourself without worrying about coming into traffic. And I also like that it's wide enough so your car can fit on that middle path in case an emergency vehicle has to go by you fast. So yeah, it's a lovely stretch. I just love driving down this stretch. This is probably my my second most driven path. It was my most driven path when I had my original job. Now this path on the drive when I'm going to visit friends. Because now I'm driving the other direction to go to work. You know, the difference between driving in America and driving in Germany, I can't really say driving in America because it's so different depending on where you live, just like in Germany. So the difference between driving here versus Arkansas really comes down to when you get in the city area. And in Arkansas, I can find parking almost anywhere. Even in Little Rock or Fayetteville, maybe not in Fayetteville when there is a football game, or in Little Rock when there's a football game, then it might be a little bit more difficult. But I can always rest assured that I will find parking somewhere, and it won't be too far away from where I want to be. Here in the city, to me, I think there's already too many cars on the road, and I think because it's really, really old, everything is really, really old, they were not built to have so many cars on the road. So of course there is some encouragement for people to ride public transportation. But there are some areas where parking is so notoriously hard to find. Either you have to pay a lot of money to park in a parking garage, or you have to wait and park somewhere. There's three options. Either you have to pay money to park in the parking garage, sometimes €4, €5 per hour. I hate to pay that. The other option is you can park maybe 1,000 meters or more from your destination just to make sure you have a spot, and you walk, which also means that you probably will not use your car to go to a grocery store. Thankfully, most of the time the grocery stores are well built in the right areas. And the third option is you can just wait and wait and hope that someone will come out and have to leave for whatever reason and give up their spot, and you can just take it. I was told by a friend, a former colleague, that on one night he had to wait 30 minutes for a parking spot to come open in his area. And he always make comments about, well, he can't have to work very long because he has to get home and find a parking spot. Where I live, I never have to do that. I have a parking spot at my job that was free, and I had a parking spot at my house that was easy to get to. And so I've never, since I've lived in Germany, I never had to wait for a parking spot. I hope to get one unless I'm visiting someone. So I was like, huh, really? Well, I went to visit him one time, and I told him that, I'll probably never come visit you again. But it wasn't just the parking. There was a protest in the city, and it seemed like there's always some type of protest in the city. And you never know when it comes unless you pay a lot of attention. You never test in the city. And it took me 4 hours to get home. Well, it probably wasn't that long, but just to get 200 meters out of the zone where the protests were taking place, I had to drive through so many back roads, so many side streets, hoping that this one would lead me out. But every time my GPS would just tell me a different direction. Eventually, I did get out. Once I got on the interstate, I know exactly where to go. But man, just to get out. Buses were held up, trains were held up. Like no one knew what was going to happen. The same thing with the crossover. This one on the streets, you can drive as fast as you want. You can literally drive as fast as you want on the street. But me, I'm not gonna go that fast. It's not that long of a stretch, but I could drive. Just take the curves, go around. If you don't drive fast enough, sometimes people blow the horn at you. Now we're starting to come to an area with the speed limit. Here's another sign, 70 kilometers. It's time to slow it down. I'm into a roundabout. This is a simple roundabout in a small community. Now, I'm coming to one of those neighborhoods to where it's hard to find parking on a Sunday or in the afternoon after work. You just have to hope. You grab the first thing you can take. It's parking on both sides here. You can definitely tell this was not built for all these cars, but somehow they make it work. It's just strange to me. See all these. There's a parking spot, but I think I'm going to try to do a little bit better. Because I'm actually not even that close to where I'm trying to get to. I guess I'm close enough. For me, that'll be okay. But I think I can do a little bit better. I don't think there's going to be anyone driving around that's too small. Hoping I can do a lot better because I have to unload something.